թողնան բարձանա, հետո նստենք կաֆին խմենք։
Go. Hadi.
This is, today we're making chorek, the most asked recipe from me. We usually eat it during Easter, but in my house we eat it all the time. So I'm using 1 cup of milk. I heat it up for 55 seconds in microwave. 3 teaspoons of, that was 1 cup of milk that I put in microwave for 55 seconds. 3 teaspoons of yeast, any kind of yeast, but I use instant, it just makes faster. You mix it. I usually don't wait for them to bubble up. If it's an instant yeast, it's so you don't need to wait for it to bubble up. Meanwhile, I have 3/4 of a cup of sugar. You can use half a cup, at least 3 tablespoons, but you can use it up to 3/4 of a cup if you like it sweeter. We like it sweeter, so we do that. It's quite a sweet bread. You can use it as a dessert or you can use it as a bread, like a Hawaiian bread. So I'm using 2 whole eggs and 1 egg yolk. So we have 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 2 full eggs, 1 egg yolk. We're gonna mix it. Doesn't have to be super mixed, it's just mixed. All we need to do is just mix it a little bit, just so it's mixed. I'm gonna take out my spatula. Okay, here we have about 6 tablespoons of butter, which I melted. And it can't be too hot because if it is, it will kill the yeast. So what I did is I've melted, let it sit for about 10 minutes and it's done. So I added melted butter, unsalted butter. I usually like to use any kind of European butter because the fat content is higher. And now we're gonna add maleb. Maleb is a spice, Middle Eastern spice. It's seeds that adds flavor to this particular chorek. You can use cardamom, like sweets have a very similar to our chorek, but it's a cardamom pastry, very similar. Now that we have everything, we're gonna add our egg mixture, egg, sugar, butter mixture to our yeast and milk.
1 teaspoon of malib.
The maleb was 1 teaspoon. Like I said, it's if you don't like any spices, don't put the spices, but then put the vanilla. Then it will be just a sweet bread with some vanilla flavor. We personally like it because that's traditional for us. Now we're gonna put I sifted 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 full cups, and once I add it, I'm gonna dig in with my hands and try to do this. I usually like to use my hands, it's the best. It's also too thick for the whisk. It gets too thick, it gets stuck with the whisk. My dough is still quite loose, so this has been 3 cups of flour. So I'm gonna go and add about 1/4. So this will make about 3 1/4 for now. I always start with less and add it. It's always better that way. So it's still loose, So we're gonna go and add another 1/4 of a cup, which makes 3.5 cups now. And I think this is okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix it well, like this. It's still sticky. I guess my eggs weren't large, they were extra large. Well, if they were large, then, but on the box it says large, but they're quite big because some large eggs will take 3 cups of flour, but those were quite big eggs. So right now I had 3.5 cups. So I'm adding another 1/4 cup, which will make our flour 3 3/4 of a cup. And I think this is perfect. That's it. So what I'm gonna do is mix it by hand. And it doesn't have to form in a bowl because this kind of dough is gonna go and rise for half an hour in my preheated pre-bake oven. It's with the temperature of 100 degrees. I'm gonna put it in at 100 degrees for 40 minutes. It's gonna rise. It will be the first rise. Then I'm gonna punch it. Right now, my gloves are off. If you don't have it, use those sprays. They are very convenient. Spray oils, any kind, because when you're making a dough, it's very, very convenient. So as you can see, our dough is not formed in the bowl. It's just like this, and this is exactly how we want it. Exactly the same way made the brioche dough, because if we put too much flour, then it's not gonna be as light and airy as we would like it. So at this point, we're just gonna slightly spray our dough on the sides so it doesn't stick. This is how I do it, easy. I'm gonna cover with the plastic wrap, and it's gonna go in a preheated 100-degree oven, which for me is it could be between 80 and 100, all depends. It's gonna go into oven for 40 minutes.